So we're going to start with this episode of Friends, the one with the bet. We're going to let the whole thing play.
Hi. Okay, next word would be Chandler. Chandler is my name, and hi.
R.I.P.
Yes, you said that.
Yes, I did. But what I didn't
My
say
joke was
what
too
I
much.
was about to say. What I wanted to say was, would you like to go out with me sometime? Thank you. Good night.
Chandler?
She said yes. She said yes. Oh! Awful play, man. What? We talked till like 2. It was this perfect evening. More or less.
All of a sudden, we realized we're in Yemen.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we is...
Hate when that happens.
We would be me and Rick.
Who's Rick? Who's Rick?
My husband.
Oh, so you're divorced?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you're widowed? Hopefully.
No, I'm still married.
So tell me, how do you think your husband would feel about you sitting here with me? Sliding your foot so far up my pant leg you can count the change in my pocket.
Don't worry. I imagine he'd be
Wait,
okay
no.
with you because really he's okay with Ethan.
No, wait, I've also been there.
There's an Ethan?
Ethan is my boyfriend.
What? So explain something to me here. What kind of relationship do you imagine us having if you already have a husband and a boyfriend?
I suppose mainly sexual.
Huh.
No, I'm sorry it didn't work out.
What not work out? I'm seeing her again on Thursday. Didn't you listen to the story?
Didn't you listen to the story? I mean, this is twisted. How could you get involved with a woman like this?
Well, I had some trouble with it at first, too, but the way I look at it is
Twisted.
I get all the good
Yikes.
stuff, all the fun, all the talking, all the sex, and none of the responsibility. I mean, this is every guy's fantasy.
Oh, yeah, that is not true. Ross, is this your fantasy?
No, of course not. Yeah, it is.
So you guys don't mind going out with someone else who's going out with someone else?
I couldn't do it.
Good for you, Joey.
And that's
When
dating.
I'm with a woman, I need to know that I'm going out with more people than she is.
Well, monogamy can be a tricky concept. I mean, anthropologically speaking. Fine. All right, now you'll never know.
We're kidding. Go.
Come on.
Ross.
All right? There's a theory put forth by Richard Leakey.
I think it's incredible how early the Friends cast had chemistry. They really popped together very early on. Also,
This is season 1.
season 1, and they were already really into it. I like how much it made fun of bad theater. And also, everybody had big shirts, which was something that I forgot about from the 90s.
We're starting with the important things.
Yeah, I just want to get those out of the way so we can really get to the weird thing of Chandler being also like this woman who has 3 dates in a day, surprising on people like, hey, by the way, new boyfriend just showed up.
Yeah, there's a lot of like surprising, like
Yeah.
they're on the date and then she casually mentions that she has a husband and a boyfriend. And then after apparently a day with Evan or Ethan,
Whatever.
one of
cares?
those two, then sleeps with Chandler and then has another. First of all, I'm like, who has the time?
In New York, too.
And
When you live in
energy.
that kind of apartment.
But but that's an issue for it's like communication where there's no
Yeah.
communication.
Oh, if you're just surprising people with like partner after partner after partner after partner, like
Yeah.
And I think that's still relevant too, because I still hear of lady friends who have a Tinder or OkCupid date, and they go out and they go, "Oh gosh, we went out to the bar, and he's married, and he didn't tell me he's poly until we got our first drink." That still happens today, and I thought, so don't say, "Oh, this is the '90s, we've progressed so far." No, I mean, people still spring this shit on people all the time.
oh yeah, absolutely. Well, there is also the thing of where the amount of like weird vitriol you get when you have it in your profile. Like if I have E&M in my profile, and like normally like in field way less, but like on Tinder I would be having conversations with people where they'd be like, oh my God, I thought you were amazing, but now I know you're non-monogamous, so like actually you're fucking gross.
We were talking about this earlier too. It's like, in what reality would a guy not put that they're E&M on their profile until you meet up with them? And it's because of this thing where it's like, maybe, you know, they need to get to know me first. It's so hard for me to get that first date anyway. Maybe they're married and their wife is going on 5-6 new dates a week, and I'm not going on any. So I need to get my foot in the door somehow.
Well, okay, but in the same way, like depending also what you're looking for, what you're going for, because like there'd be people I'd meet up with casually that I don't feel the need to have to then have a 90-minute discussion on the idea of like what it means to be monogamous and like culturally like what's been like put forth, when like in reality I'm not going to have a relationship with this person.
Yeah,
we're going out on a date.
Yeah.
We're having fun, but like it's not a long, like we're not compatible long term. It doesn't seem like our goals are aligned in that way. So do I need to now spend, like, and I'm not saying someone married, but like I'm saying like as someone who does not want monogamy long term, do I need to announce that, right? Well, and I think it's now become a better place for it. But early on, like there's such things where it's like I don't want to be berated for something where I'm going to hang out with someone a couple times and then not.
Yeah.
We've
talked about this with, like, I met someone while I was traveling, and I didn't see it going anywhere beyond that. And so that's just not a part of my life that I mentioned, because to me, I was like, this is fun. And this is like, this can just is what it is in this short, like segmented period of time. And so I just didn't feel like getting into it because it just wasn't worth it at that, which...
Because like it's that thing of like, oh, or do you just want to ask me a bunch of invasive questions about my life? Even though you're not invested in my life, you don't actually have any, and you're just looking for ammo for why this won't work.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can give you even the right answers and you'll tell me it won't work.
Mm-hmm.
Or like we could or it's like we just met up and it's like fun. Do I need to now like disclose like this thing of like, so you don't get the idea that this might be a marriage situation one day?
Right.
E&M is more than our personalities, and it's very hard to tightrope that walk sometimes. Like, how do I introduce myself to someone on an app without my relationship preferences being the only thing about my personality? There's so much more, but like, would this woman in this episode even have gotten that first date with Chandler if she were upfront? Because he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But would it have unfolded the same way if she was upfront?
Well, I guess in this specific clip, he says, like, that's the dream. And that's kind of the whole joke is like, oh, Chandler gets exactly what he wants. And turns out it's not what he wants.
Yeah. And then saying like, oh, you get all like of the benefits without the responsibility. And it's like, no, that's missing the whole point, is that you actually, when you are non-monogamous and with many other people, you have so many other people to consider. So if anything, it's more responsibility. I didn't set up the ending one.
Do you want to, I can edit.
Oh, yeah.
We have,
Okay.
yeah.
We have this magical power called Matt sits there and edits this out.
Everyone calm down. Okay. And then this is the end of it.
Right.
Okay.
God, I love these fingers.
Thank you.
No, actually, I meant my fingers. Look at them. Look at how happy they are.
Oh my God, I'm late.
Oh, no. Don't go.
Okay.
Don't go.
Okay. Oh, no, I have
Look
to.
at that. She's leaving.
I'm sorry. He'll be waiting for me.
Oh, well, I thought you talked to Rick.
It's not Rick.
But Ethan, he got to spend the whole day with you.
No, it's Andrew.
I know there'll be many moments in the years to come when I'll regret asking the following question, but... And Andrew is?
He's new.
Oh, so what you're saying is you're not completely fulfilled by Rick, Ethan, and myself.
No, that's not exactly what I was...
But, most women would kill for 3 guys like us.
So what do you want?
You?
You have me.
No, just you.
What do you mean?
Lose the other guys.
Like, all of them?
Come on. We're great together. Why not?
Why can't we just have what we have now? Why can't we just talk and laugh and make love without feeling obligated to one another? And up until tonight, I thought that's what you wanted too.
Well, you know, part of me wants that, but it's like I'm two guys, you know? I mean, one guy's saying, shut up, this is great. But there's this other guy. Actually, it's the guy who wells up every time the Grinch's heart grows 3 sizes and breaks that measuring device. And he's saying, you know, this is too hard. Get out, get out.
So, which one of the two guys will you listen to?
I don't know, I have to listen to both of them. They don't exactly let each other finish.
Which one?
The second guy.
I see. Well, call me if you change your mind.
Sorry, the first guy runs the lips.
So that just does not feel accurate in
Right, and like, and you can have different responsibility. You can have less responsibility.
Sure.
That's absolutely, and in the way of that, the woman in this situation, she has 4 partners. She has a fuck ton of responsibility.
Her schedule, her calendar being
Her calendar is
main
as
one.
full as her pussy. It's
My-
incredible.
My goodness.
What are we doing? What podcast do you think this is? Like, I don't understand. You're like, you almost didn't, like, I'm not gonna, I'll spoil a little bit. I've heard that you originally didn't want to have anyone else who wasn't in sex work on the podcast early on.
Did it?
Well, no, weren't you saying something like that where you're like early on? No? Okay. Well, that,
Our
but I'm
first
saying, like,
episode was with the sex worker. Don't be crazy.
no. Anyone who wasn't in.
Oh, yes, that's accurate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We've evolved. I
No,
can
that's
evolve.
fine. But I'm saying,
Yes.
like, what is this podcast if I can't say that?
All right. Fair enough.
We're funded by Ron DeSantis. I
Yeah,
don't know
thank
what to
you.
tell
I'm too.
My
He loves porn. He looks at it on 9/11. There's screenshots.
That's
Anyway.
accurate.
Final thoughts? Yeah, let's move on.
I mean, the whole thing of like that's every man's fantasy is just so patently untrue.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. The amount of men that are so insecure about all of this stuff, and then if you got into that situation, the amount of men who would have been like, "You're so hot, we should fuck," but also I can't do it because that's not what Jesus would want. Even though I go to church on Christmas and Easter.
Creasters.
Yeah.
Baseline, just not the non-monogamy. It's just like a lot of guys have such a hard time grappling with, oh my God, she's had sex with men before me.
Oh my
Let
God.
alone
Yeah.
non-monogamy.
Yeah. Yep. Accurate.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's all just based on insecurity, which is what a lot of, well, that was the one last point I wanted to bring up about the weirdness about it, because the thing about being E&M and everything is like when you bring up how to conflate it with your personality is all the representation is stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing they see and they go, well, that's what those people are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it's so hard to be like, no, like I'm a person who likes board games too much. And that's like the big flaw.
Right. We're not gonna hate on the board game E&M community.
I own 40 board games.
Okay, all right.
I'm doing it from within the house.
Okay. Hey.
I built the farm. It's farm to table polyamory. They're board games.
He's the D&D guy, so
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
the LARPing guy.
Yes.
He can criticize.
All right. And I will real quick, I will give Matt you credit because when
Finally, about what? Ooh, let's hear it.
Oh my gosh. Because when we matched on Tinder, you had E&M in your Tinder profile. And I was like monogamous up until that point. But
She swiped in spite of that.
I swiped knowing that
Yeah.
that was something that I had no familiarity with.
Oh, and then here's the other thing. So like Tinder is full of like bots and stuff and fake profiles. And we've talked about that with Steve. I would get a lot more matches on Hinge, but I have to put that I'm E&M on Hinge. And I would get 50-50 responses where it's like, oh, recently divorced, had a really toxic relationship, they just broke up with them. Or I'd get just hate mail. They would match with me just to say that I'm doing life wrong. Or they're like, you have an app for that, and it's called Field. And I'm like, but as a single guy on Field, you're wasting your time. There's no one matching with single men on Field.
Buddy, you're so tall. I don't know how that's not happening for you.
Well, then they assume that I'm gay. They're just like, you're gay. You're just gay. Dude, you're gay. Get on Grindr. Get off Hinge.
Okay.
You're gay.
I'll say it everywhere because it's given me so much. I do fairly well on Field in general on dating apps.
Oh, shit. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you, short king.
Yeah. You know what? It's an even playing field. It's an even playing field. Everybody has to get to know me by personality first. I'm 5'7". It's fine. But the line that has gotten me the most, and it's really just, it's figure out like 3 things about your personality that you would want to talk about. 3 things that you'd actually want to talk, because the thing is like, people overload their profiles with so many things that they don't actually want to talk about. So when someone tries to talk to you about that thing, instead you just get into that space where you're like, oh, I actually don't really want to talk about opera. I just said that to look cool. And now you are
said no one ever.
Sure, no, it sounds classy or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
I picked
Right.
that. Well, no, because I have I was trained in some of that stuff. So I had that in my profile for a while, and then it's like I don't actually want to talk about this with people. It's not where I'm going to have fun talking. And so it's like I have in my profile food and a couple other things that board games and stuff like that. Stuff I would want to talk nerdy stuff I'd want to talk about. And then the line, though, and you just treat them kind of like little jokes that you'd write. And just try and write 3 jokes for yourself. And that'll go a long way with people. It shows enough of your personality.
That's fair.
But the line that's worked the best for me is, I'm in therapy, but I'll choke you like I'm not.
Oh, my.
On Field?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know how I would respond to that.
That's kind of playing to the crowd.
Yeah, it really works. But I used it on Tinder. Bumble did not like it.
Oh, no. You mean you scared all the blonde Catholic girls on Bumble?
Yeah. But it was so great on Bumble because the amount people would go, yes, just immediately, it would just start conversations very forwardly. But it also lets people know that I'm in therapy.
Right. I picked that out.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.